Welcome back to the quest, the FM24 save, where we are trying to take a club to a European final from a nation that have never produced a European finalist before. We are, of course, in Northern Ireland. We're back for episode 3. Things are going all right at Moyola Park. You'll see we're 5th in the table. We've come back for a double header of league games, which is pretty welcome, let me tell you, because since I saw you last, I feel like I've done nothing but play cup fixtures in Northern Ireland. There are about 40 different local, regional, national cups that you get entered into. We're going to be up against top of the table Warren Point Town for our first game. We were top ourselves a game or two ago. It was a fleeting moment at the summit of the table. We've plummeted back down again, but you can see it's pretty concertinaed at the top there. We're on 19 points. Warren Point are on 23. We could go within a point of them by beating them today. Form has been, well, pretty decent, I reckon. So when we joined you for our last episode, we played our first 2 games in charge, a 4-0 victory in the league and a 3-0 victory in the old Steel and Sons. We followed that up with a 3-2 win against Cogue before we then departed 3 cup competitions in little over a week. 2 of them were against very tough opposition. We took Crusaders to extra time before falling apart 4-1. We lost 7-0 to Cliftonville. Not as bad as it might seem because we did rotate the squad just to give players a rest. We then lost 2-1 to Queen's University. That one was a little bit more disappointing before we got back to league action by beating the Police Service of Northern Ireland 3-1. We then had a win in one of the cups, the Intermediate Cup this time, 4-1 over Debbie McGee before a 3-3 draw with Port Stewart in the league meant we dropped our first point since taking over, and we followed that up by dropping more with a rather disappointing 2-0 defeat to Distillery in the league. We got another win in the cup against Dollingstown before our most recent cup victory, this time in the Irish Cup, which I'm guessing is the biggest one, where we beat Banbridge 2-0, and we will be playing Banbridge again in the second of today's games in the league. That win against Banbridge in the Cup has set up an Irish Cup first round tie with Glentoran, one of the most successful teams in Northern Irish football, and will be at home for that. So I can only assume that is going to be a pretty big game. I'd imagine we might draw in more than the 138 that we normally get for our home games. But today, it's going to be top of the table Warren Point and then 9th in the table Banbridge, as we try and work out what kind of team we are. Are we a club that is chasing the title? Are we one that's going to consider ourselves fortunate to sneak into that second place playoff? Or are we more of a mid-table side who just got a little bit of a fortunate new manager bounce when we took over? Elsewhere around the club, the kits are in. We're looking rather prim and proper in our nice little Nike outfits. The finances are looking reasonably good. Best part of £30,000 in the bank. I think one of the byproducts of having a wage budget of just £80 per week is it's pretty difficult for me to do too much damage to the club's finances. It gets topped up every time you draw a game in the Northern Irish 3rd Division. They give you £15, which is rather nice. Win a game, they give you 45, not 50. That would be going too far, but they give you £45. So that just about covers the players' win bonuses, goal bonuses, because most of our squad, if not all of our squad, are on non-contract terms. So that £83 a week that we're spending is all made up by appearance fees and bonuses. We've done a little bit of transfer business since we saw you last. Not a huge amount. We've lost a couple of players because teams can just come in and steal our non-contract players. So we've managed to replace them, one with Noeem Adekunle, who's going to be coming in January. He's going to be joining from Armagh, going to be a central midfielder who physically is pretty decent for the level that we're at, particularly in terms of the pace and the fitness. Mentally, there's some good areas as well, the decision-making, nice bit of leadership in the centre of the park, will work pretty hard as well. But why I really like him is the passing of 10, vision of 11, first touch of 9, and the long shots of 10. So in the centre of midfield might be a pretty creative force for us, or at least I'm hoping so. There was a player on a free transfer that I've snapped up as well, who's managed to come in before transfer windows open. So it must be that you can bring in free transfers at any point during the season. So this is Jake Morrow, very much a squad player, can play up front or in central midfield. In all honesty, I think it's as a striker where they're at most use, because that finishing of 5 is probably easier to gloss over than the passing of 4 playing in the central area. So has come in pretty much as a rotation option as a striker, but elsewhere, the players that we already inherited have been doing a pretty good job. We have developed a dream strike force between the veteran Mark Kelly, 6'4", 17 goals in 16 competitive games, is clearly in the twilight of his career, but my goodness, you give him a sniff in the box and he will dispatch it with ease. And he is helping to bring on the young 16-year-old Bobby Mack, who honestly, despite his terrible personality, complete lack of strength, inability to jump, he is a good little striker. It's the finishing of 15 that's doing all the work. He's got 11 in 13 starts. Perhaps a little bit inconsistent, but for £1 a week, at 16 years old, we're pretty much just giving him pocket money. He is doing a decent job. Brennan out on the left wing, well, he's still doing great things for us as well. He's only got crossing of 5. You would not know it. It's his pace that does all of the damage. And then Big McKim at the back is just our talisman, our leader, our Adonis back there. He heads, he kicks, he fouls. He's an absolute delight. At 6'4", we've not seen him come up for a lot of set pieces and do any damage. Have a look at my set pieces during today's video. That might be the area where I need to do some tweaking and development, because we're not very effective from those. Not that we have any great set piece takers, but my near post, far post, centre routines really aren't eliciting very many highlights at all. Before we get out there for today's double header of games, I wanted to get your ideas down in the comments as to how long you think we should spend at Moyola Park. I was thinking it might just be a one-season affair. We roll into town, get a coaching badge, and then we go and look for pastures new. But I will be completely honest with you. This club has started to get under my skin a little bit, aided by the fact the star centre-half Elliot McKim has somehow found this YouTube series and is giving me real-life updates as to how Moyola Park are getting on. Exciting times, apparently new manager at the helm. And I've got to say, I've settled into life at Moyola Park, so give me your opinions down below. Should we stick to our guns and try and find another club at the end of our first season, or do we perhaps stay for a couple of years, maybe 3, maybe 4? Do we try and take Moyola Park all the way to the top tier of Northern Irish football and grow our reputation that way? And whilst we're on a little bit of admin, thank you for all of the support on episodes 1 and 2. The number of likes, views, and comments has been absolutely bewildering, and some people have become channel members and have found the Patreon link as well, which we'll leave in the description for today's video. So a heartfelt thank you to everybody for your fabulous support. And for today's video, let me have your comments on how long we should stay at Moyola Park. We are the home team today. After our last episode, I thought that Moyola Park played in yellow because we wore a yellow kit in both of our first 2 fixtures in charge. Turns out that was our away kit. We'll be the side in all blue today as McKim sends in an early free kick. Here is Brennan. Apparently he can't cross, but that's a good ball in. McKim is still up from the set piece. He's got it all the way back to Duffin. The ball's gone in. Bobby Mack was on the scene, but Dean plucks it out. That can't be the highlight, I don't think. He drops it at his feet, launches it forward, and they've got the ball at the back. And maybe I thought this was going to be a set-piece highlight for us, and it's not. Pam Ferris fires the ball wide of goal. That was an early warning shot. I thought that that was our highlight on Warren Point. Rampage through the middle of our midfield and go very close with an effort. We've got another set-piece here, but I'm not sure this is for us. Their goalkeeper's punched it. Here's old Bren. He's going for a bit of a wonder down the right. In fact, he's got snake-like hips as he gives it the little shuffle, beats a man, fires in a shot. Duff's going to be on another corner. This is what I was saying about our set pieces. Don't look great, do they? Maybe I need to do a bit of work. Again, down in the comments, which corner routines are you finding you're having the most success with at the moment. I noticed the AI seems to be going short all of the time with their corners. And there's Graham, our left back. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He's played it into the arms of a grateful Dean, who fires it forward again. We pick up the loose ball, give it away. Don Hutchinson's there in the midfield. He must be knocking on a little bit, but here he comes. Spreads the play to Livingstone. They've slung a ball into the box. It's Pam Ferris again. She's not as sprightly as she used to be, old Ma Larkin. But there she heads over the bar. 5 shots for Warren Point, 4 for us. Pretty even on the XG. We're dominating possession, though. Maybe if we get an old shout of encouragement going. We are very much in this game. Back underway in the second half. Bobby Mack's got the ball. He's tackled, but Kelly picks up the scraps. Here's the duff. There's Morrow, the free transfer. There's his passing of 4, I'm afraid. It's not the first time we've just launched a ball forward and it's run harmlessly through to their goalkeeper. And now we're up against it, and you give Pam Ferris 2 chances, she might miss them. You give her a third, and she is lethal, and that is a goal all of our own doing. There was a chance to clear the ball here, and we don't do it. There was certainly a chance to get rid of the ball there. And it is very disappointing defending. It is Northern Irish second tier defending, I guess. And Pam Ferris is there to put Warren Point into the lead. Bobby Mack, having given him a bit of a build-up, is playing pretty poorly tonight. But he can produce a goal out of nothing because the Duff sends a cross in that's deflected to their keeper. All of their chances seem to start with their goalie. And here comes another one. It's Ardal O'Hanlon now. It's a team of celebrities playing the ball in. Karen Carney making her return to football in Northern Ireland's third tier. And we now bring the ball forward. Kelly's there. The target forward can't get on it. But Duff's got a chance now, and Bobby Mack is looking to play on the shoulder of the last defender. Duff could send the ball in here. It's a good run. Oh, Bobby. He is an impish light striker, jumping reach of 2. But you give him a chance in and around the 6-yard box, and he comes to life. Here's the Duff again. He's weaving. He's bobbing. I thought Kelly was hold back there. We've got another chance. What's Bobby Mack just done? He could have brought the ball down on his chest and turned and crossed it. Instead, he heads it behind for a goal kick. Not sure what B Mac was quite thinking there. Here comes Brannan once more, raiding down the left. One of our more lively players. And there is Mark Kelly getting us back on level terms. 33-year-old veteran. The legs might be tiring, but the instincts are razor sharp. Look at him there. He's like a little rutting stag in mating season at the near post. He has got onto that with an eagerness that you rarely see from a 33-year-old. On these XGs, we really should be looking for another goal. Let's try demand more for the last 5 minutes. They've just changed to a 4-2-4 as they go in search of a winner. That might leave gaps at the back that we can exploit. Or it might mean that they bring the cavalry forward and attack us. They're in. It's Livingston. Oh, it's that woman Ferris again. Is it offside? Is it offside? It says tight offside, and they might have just disallowed this. Rob McCaffrey to Livingston. It has been disallowed. Once again, that was a goal that we would have gifted them as we fire the ball into the backside of Pam Ferris. Fortunately, the linesman is on our side. It's a 1-1 draw against top of the table. Certainly not a disgrace, but given the match stats, I think we could have won that. Let's keep morale up and tell them well done. And let's see if we've got some injured players back for the Banbridge game. Just before we get to that Banbridge game, the youth intake preview is in. Doesn't look too bad, to be honest. Healthy number of fullbacks, a B rating. Some central midfielders, which we could dearly do with, a B rating as well. Potentially a goalkeeper. Potentially a DM and a wide midfielder as well. Not really anything by way of strikers, but I don't know, we'll take that. If there's any players that come through the youth intake that we could use in any capacity, even if they're just squad players next season, then I think that would be a pretty cost-effective option. We have got a couple of players back today, and we're going to bring them straight in. We're going to bring in McElveen, swap them over with McNeil. And we've also got Adam Ambrose back as well. So we'll take Duffin out of the firing line. I think we'll bring Duffin onto the bench, though, possibly for, let's go for Rob McLean. And now I think we're at our strongest with Kelly and Bobby Mack up front, Brennan and Ambrose, the supply line on the wing, McElveen just settling in as more of a defensive central midfielder, and then Jakey McNeil with passing of 10, not the vision, but certainly the passing of 10 that might be able to create a chance going forward. Marshalled by McKim and Findlay at the back. I think we've got a pretty decent lineup. We beat Banbridge in the Cup. Let's get out there and see whether we can now do the double over them in little more than a week by beating them in the league. That point against Warren Point lifted us to 4th in the table, 4 points behind Warren Point. Let's say that we're the favourites. Go out and make sure that everybody knows why. Away game for us today. They're going to match us up with a 4-4-2. There are the boys lined up ready for the game. Not the biggest crowd we've seen in Northern Ireland's third tier, but we are underway whilst the players are just settling into this game. A huge thank you, by the way, to everybody that is still pledged to support me on Patreon. Having taken a little break from YouTube series, I did say that people should cancel their Patreon pledges. Many people have carried them on, so a huge thank you for that. And also a huge thank you to all of the channel members that are pledged to sign up to support on a monthly basis as well. Those little acts of kindness, that little bit of financial support is hugely appreciated, and is possibly one of the main reasons why I've decided to launch another YouTube series. It's difficult to squeeze in all of the Football Manager commitments, what with the manager's seat, streaming Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 PM on Twitch, and committing to do a Let's Play series as well, particularly when we're not getting Work the Space Lelujo figures on our Let's Play series. They're more of a labour of love. But certainly, the fact that there's people out there that tell me that they like what we're doing and support me financially as well certainly gives you that extra incentive to want to carry on doing Let's Play series. This has been a first half where Banbridge haven't had a shot, but I feel like there could be a sting in the tail as they have a set piece right at the end. Robert Downey Sr. sends the ball in, and they have fired their first effort of the game over the bar. We've been a bit wasteful this half. 9 shots for an XG of not even half a goal means that in the second half, we're going to need a bit more of a lively performance. We're going to point the finger, tell them that the shooting has been the problem. Mark Kelly and Bobby Mack have not been as good today as they have been in games off camera. And we are going to throw out an early shout, I think, of demand more. Mark Kelly's actually playing a 6.3 today. And Bobby Mack's disappointing for the second game running. We've got a throw in deep in the opposition's third. We've sent the ball into Brennan, who swivels on a sixpence, brings the ball down, beats a man, then gives it away. McElveen picks up the crumbs in midfield. We come again down the left. Brennan's going to have another go. There he is, beats a man. There's Kelly. Turns. Cool as the proverbial cucumber. He's giving it the machine guns to the fans in the... Fans, forgive me. To the fan that's travelled over in the corner. Look at Brennan. What wing play that is, by the way. He has got the hips of a salsa dancer, and Kelly just takes his time, slots it into the net. We're a goal up, and I think we can make some substitutions. We've only conceded 3 shots to Banbridge. Yet again, we are underperforming compared to our XG. And McNeil sends it behind for a very late corner. We're over the allotted time. We were better than this against them in the Cup, and they have stolen and scored a near post header. Here's me saying, well, we don't threaten from set pieces, but at least we look tight. We've got a man on the near post there who's, I don't know, lifted his leg above the ball. And a 1-0 win turns into a 1-1 draw in an absolute blink of an eye. We'll point the finger. That was disappointing. And we've lost a little bit more ground in the title race. There is the table. We are now 6 points behind Warren Point. We are 6 points behind Rathfrilland Rangers, We're still in the hunt, I would say, but I think we need to get to January. I think by the time we come back next, we need to have finessed the squad a little. Don't forget to give this video a little like, and also don't forget to leave me your comments down below. How are we fixing our set pieces? We're going to go behind the scenes and try and do some transfer business and win some more games. And we'll see you for the next episode of The Quest.